All right. How is everybody doing today? As Emily said, I am glad to be here. I volunteered, by the way, y'all, to be here today. So really excited to be here. And so we're going to talk about keeping your best people. How do you keep your best people? And we're going to be using a complete metaphor-driven framework to help you do that. And the reason for that is so that when you see somebody, you'll start using that metaphor to identify what type of person they are. So we're gonna get right into it. I'm gonna get my mouse over here, and we're gonna get right into it. Okay, so yep, there we go. So just a little bit about what we're gonna talk about today. So first of all, so we'll get a little introduction. Then we're gonna talk about taking care of the goose that lays the golden egg. We're gonna talk about recognizing and coaching the ugly duckling. Get my next slide here. We're going to talk about how to kick that fox out, or if you need to kick that fox out of the hen house. We're going to talk about creating an ego culture, and then we're going to conclude. That's it. Quick and easy, right? So real quick, most employers, especially electrical contractors, are having issue finding people, and they're especially having an issue finding skilled people. What does that mean? People that know what to do when they get on the job. They can find someone that doesn't know what to do. They can find someone that comes on a job that doesn't know how to be in pipe, that doesn't know how to wear their PPE correctly, that doesn't know about safety, but they're looking for people who are skilled. And so are office people, so are plumbers, so are carpenters. They are looking for skilled people. There is a lot of people that want to be in the trade, but the problem is they are not skilled. That's the problem. And there are some obstacles that we as associations, IC associations, there's obstacles that you as contractors and business owners run into when you're trying to hire someone to get into your business. Number one, fewer people are getting into the workplace. For whatever reason, young folks don't want to work. I don't know why. And they especially don't want to do a trade. Trades have gotten a bad rap. People think it's, dirty, nasty work, and sometimes it is, but they think you don't get paid. They don't realize how much money you can make in the trades. Our retirees are leaving, and they're not really training anyone to take their place, right? There's no one to replace them. That's happening. Experienced workers are getting out, and again, they're not finding anyone to replace them. So that's the issue. A lot of times young folks are coming in and they want to make big money. I want to make $100,000. And I say, okay, what do you know how to do? Nothing. So you don't come to work on time. I mean, all these obstacles, but they want to make the big money. So that's the obstacle. And so as an employer, you have to decide. I mean, do I let this young person come in and pay them all this money and they're not producing, or do I not? And so those are some of the issues, some of the obstacles that we're dealing with. And the last one, again, they don't know how to do anything. So I have apprentices call me all the time. I want more money. And I'm like, okay, what do you know how to do? What can you do that's going to make you? It may cost too much money to Uber to get to that job site. And of course, if they do have transportation, then their car's breaking down every other week. There's another problem. So these are some of the obstacles that are hurting us and preventing, especially my contractors, from hiring some young folks. In fact, when you talk about them being 18, just getting out of high school, a lot of contractors don't want to touch them. A lot of business owners don't want to touch a young person because they just not real dependable. But guess what? We don't really have a labor problem. We have a skilled labor problem. We have bodies. We just don't have the bodies trained to do what we need them to do. So what do we do? So how do we ensure that we keep our people? Well, first of all, we want to keep our people, and then we bring in people, we want to keep them too. So we don't want to waste our money on training. We want to make sure that when we're investing in our body, when we're hiring and going through the hiring process and training process, we want to make sure that we're keeping those that we're bringing in. Does that make sense? Okay. So first of all, you got to take care of the goose that lays the golden egg. Yes. The goose that lays the golden egg, right? You have to take care of that person that's making you money, that person that's getting the job done, that person that's dependable, that person that you can count on. You have to take care of the goose that lays the golden egg. Well, you may say, well, Zach, how do I take care of that goose? How do I make sure that I can keep that goose and make sure that goose continues to lay golden eggs? I'm glad you asked. Well, first of all, you got to identify who they are, right? You got to know who your high performers are. So you got to find a way, to track how well they're doing, their attitude, how well they're doing their job, how are they willing to be trained? Are they willing to go further than where they are? You got to find out. And if you're a big business owner, you have a large company, you have a whole bunch of managers and a whole bunch of employees. The best way to do that is to do a survey. Do a survey for your employees. To do an evaluation. To do an evaluation of your employees to find out who is performing and who is not performing. That's the best way. You have to identify who your high performers are. Who are the ones that get a job done, who you can depend on. Number 2, give them what they need to thrive. If they need certain tools to make their job easy, give them that. If they're asking for more training, give them that. If they need help, someone to mentorship to grow them up, give them that and give them opportunities to grow. Listen, everybody, well, I shouldn't say everybody. Most people that are high performers, your goose, trust me, your goose wants to grow. Trust me. If they're a real goose, they want to grow. They're looking for opportunities to grow. So give them what they need to grow. Give them everything they need to grow. Recognize them. Reward them when they're consistent. They showing up every day. They're doing their job. They're performing at a high level consistently over and over and over again. Give them some praise. Show them some love. Put their name up in lights. When you have your next company function, recognize those people. Give them bonus. Money always works. Trust me. Money always works. Give them bonuses. Give them ways to grow. Hey, John, you're doing a great job. Right now you're a manager, or right now you're a foreman. I'd love to see you be a superintendent. Let's figure out how to get there. Give them some pathways, and also appreciate the culture. Okay, you got to appreciate the culture. You want to create a culture where you have a whole bunch of goose laying golden eggs, right? You got to have that. Remove the barriers. If there's any barriers, if a guy is performing, and he tells you, hey, I could do a better job if this wasn't here, or I could do a better job if I didn't have this situation going on. It could be a scheduling issue. It could be a rule or some stuff that administrative or the bosses have put in place that keeps them from being the best they can be. They're like, hey, we can still get this job done with all this paperwork. Figure it out, right? And provide, of course, clear communication. Be accessible. Allow them to be able to come and talk to you if there's an issue. Trust me, I want to be able to go and talk to my boss if something's going on, right? And then you want to create a culture that makes people want to stay. You got to create a culture that people don't want to leave. You know what I mean? You want to create a psychological safe place. You want to create a place that there's respect there, and you want them to be valued. You want them to be valued. So you got to take care of that golden goose. Now, this is not on my slide, but what if I got a guy? I'm just a little scenarios here. What if I have a guy who's showing up late every day? Let's say this guy is showing up 2 hours late, right? And let's say, but yet this guy gets done in 6 hours when it takes a guy 8 hours to get done. What do I do about that? Right? I say it's still a problem. Even though he's my goose, he's laying me golden eggs every day. He's getting work done. But when it comes to morale, that's a problem. So there, you may have some employees that may be golden goose, but little ugly duckling too. We're going to talk about ugly duckling. They kind of, and just understand, even though this guy's getting work done in 6 hours when it takes the rest of the guys to get done in 8, guess what? It's bad for morale, right? Next thing you know, everybody's showing up 6 hours late. Now you got the guys showing up that's not getting work done in 6 hours that the other guys get done in 6 hours, and now you're losing production because the guy that's showing up late, there's a goose. He's getting work done. He's getting work done in 6 hours when it takes other guys 8 hours. But now my other guys who are not as good as him, they show up late too, and now they're not even getting 8 hours worth of work done. If that makes sense. So let's talk about recognizing the ugly duckling. You got one. You got one. Trust me. You got someone on your team that has promise. They got some issues. They got some showing up on time issues. They don't get everything right. They make mistakes. You know what I'm saying? You got them. But what you got to learn how to do if you recognize an ugly duckling is you got to, I'm sorry, I went the wrong way. Forgive me. You have to spot their talent. Okay, you got to identify the apprentices or employees who need a little bit of structure, mentoring, a little extra help. You know, maybe this guy, I had an apprentice come to me, man, he's doing everything he can, but he don't have the tools. He's like, man, I just don't have the same tools everybody got. And so because I don't have the same tools, I'm not as fast as everybody else, right? So so find out that guy that just needs a little bit of push, or that employee that needs a little bit of push to help them be that golden goose, right? He's not perfect, she's not perfect, but guess what? Just a few little touches here and there. I shouldn't say the touches. Some mentoring here and there, and then you can help them turn into the goose. So you want to spot the hidden talent. Then you want to provide just what I said, coaching instead of criticism, right? You know, hey, John, Sue, I noticed you been coming in late, but you're doing a great job. I appreciate what you're doing. You're doing a great job. You're getting the work done. I appreciate that. But man, you know, you make it look bad for everybody else. Everybody else, I got other people complaining about you. You my guy. You my girl. I need you to show up on time. I need you to. So let's work. Let's figure out how we can make sure you get to work on time. What is hindering you from getting to work on time? What's causing you to come in looking like you slept in your clothes last night? What can we do to help you get to where I need you to be at? Because you my guy. You know what I'm saying? You represent the brand. We need you to represent the brand. So you got to give them some clear expectations. Give them some clear expectations. And then you got to come up with a plan. I mean, you just can't tell them what you're going to tell them, then walk away and forget about them and never watch them or talk to them again. You got to monitor them. You know, give them feedback. Hey, John, man, I saw you come in on time today, man. Thank you, man. Hey, I know you coming in for a week now. Man, I appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? And you got to have some ways they can build skills, right? Again, mentoring. We're going to say mentoring. So if you hate the word mentoring, I'm sorry. We're going to be saying mentoring a lot in this presentation. You want to do mentorships, weekly check-ins. Hey, John, man, I know you've been coming in on time. You're doing a great job, man. I appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? Thank you so much. You know, just you want to keep your fingers on the pulse of that particular person to ensure that they're making the necessary growth that you need. And then, of course, you want to celebrate improvements, right? You want to celebrate improvements. When they do well, John, Sue has been coming in, doing a great job. Man, tell them, man, hey, man, you know what I mean? Let me buy you lunch, whatever you can do to help them celebrate their improvements. You want to encourage that. Right? You want to encourage any improvements that they're going to make. So again, that ugly duckling is that person that you can see has potential, but they just lacking that one little thing. They got, you can see it. Or you may have a person that's showing up on time, but he just can't seem to get that work right. Or his reports are coming back and they just not, they just need a little fine tuning. Recognize an ugly duckling and mentor them and help them get up into the golden goose stage. You know what I'm saying? You can do that. Okay. Reduce turnover by lifting people, right? So most people don't leave jobs, they leave environments, right? So again, you want to continue to lift them up. Once they've done a good job, once you reward them, you want to continue communicating with them. You know what I'm saying? Hey, John, man, you're doing a good job. Hey, Sue, you're doing a good job, man. I appreciate you. You're doing everything I asked you to do. The growth goals that we had, you're meeting those, man. Man, thank you, man. You're doing a great job. You know what I'm saying? You want to be doing that, right? You want to create an environment that a body, they're looking for you to say good job, right? You're creating a culture that people feel good about being there because they know you appreciate when they're doing what they're supposed to do. And the other thing, you got to kick the fox out of the hen house. That fox. Ooh, let's talk about that fox. That fox is that person, as you see in the picture, they always taking. Sometimes they're stealing. Ooh, you might say, how? They stealing time, right? You might have someone that's they coming in and instead of them giving you 8 hours, they giving you 6 hours or they giving you 4 hours, right? You want to ensure that you're identifying who those people are. Okay. Now, me and my wife had a great conversation. Can a fox be turned into an ugly duckling or a goose? Can they? Depends, right? Depends on what they're stealing. Depends on what they're stealing, right? Maybe Fox stealing product, stealing money. Yeah, you probably can't do anything with that. But if you got a person that's not producing, they're stealing time, they're not giving you everything you want, then you caution them. Hey, dude, I'm expecting to get this amount of work done a day, and you're only getting half of that. We need to come up with a growth, a growth plan, so that you can do better. Because right now you're not performing at the level I need you to perform at. And if you can't, then it's not that I want you to be here, but I'm trying to run the business. I got to have people that are able to perform at the level I need to perform at. And so if you can do that, I understand. If not, then we might have to separate. Go our separate ways. So you got to identify toxic behaviors, right? Those people that all they do is gossip. Every time you say something or come up with a new rule is negativity. They don't want to work. They got a bad attitude. They're doing stuff that's unsafe. They're literally putting your company in jeopardy by doing unsafe things. They're turning your people against you. They're causing you to lose your customers. You need to get rid. You at a certain point, you have to decide: do I mentor this person? Do I keep them? Is there an ugly duckling there? You have to figure it out. And guess what? If you have come to the conclusion that they just not gonna work, you have to have the courage to kick them out. You gotta have the courage to kick them out. Okay? They will ruin your hen house. They will ruin your business. They will ruin your company. And when there's an issue, take care right then. My daddy, when we were growing up, my dad used to say, son, if you're short in public, I'm going to deal with you in public. And I'm not saying you should do that. I'm not saying you should do that as a business owner, you should, but I'm saying you need to deal with it. You need to make sure that you don't ignore bad behavior. Okay? Any disruptions to your team, anybody that's doing something that's affecting your team, you need to deal with that. Right? And so I knew my daddy, he helped us understand that I'm going to deal with you. You think because, we're in public, I'm going to deal with you. So if you see someone in your company that is doing something or behaving in a way that's causing you to lose people, then you need to deal with that. Okay. And then you want to hold people accountable. I give you a job to do. I pay you good money. Guess what? I give you a job to do. I pay you good money. I need you to do your job. I have these expectations that we have agreed upon. I need you to get that stuff done. If you don't, we're going to talk about it. And I'm going to document our conversation. Okay? We're going to ensure that you are aligning with our values. We're going to deal with you. You're not going to be able to hide in our company. You're not going to be able to hide in our association. You're going to have to deal with me. All right? And then you have to remove the true foxes. When you've gone through all of that, you talk to them, you know what I'm saying? You've told them what your expectations are, and they're not doing it. Guess what? You got to have the courage to get rid of them. They have to go. So sometimes retention, guys, means letting go of the people who hurt morale, who hurt business. That you got to, and we're going to talk. I'm going to kind of go back a little bit. But one time, I had a guy who I thought was a golden goose. I said, "Oh, he was a goose that was giving me golden eggs. He was making us money. He was doing a great job. But the problem is he was running off my employees, right? He didn't want to train them. He talked to them bad. They all wanted to quit. So even though he was making me money, he was causing me to lose my other valuable employees as well. So we had a conversation. He said he was going to make adjustments. He did not. We talked about it. He couldn't make adjustments. I had to let him go. Because I could not make money with just one guy. I need a team of people. And if you're running my entire team off, I can't use you. If he was doing stuff like he would be in traffic and would literally get in the fast lane and just go slow. And people would call him. They call the numbers on the back of the truck. They call in the truck. Hey, are you the owner of this company? This guy's just stuff like that. Just stuff that you don't have to do. So you have to decide. A guy could start out as a golden goose, a goose that lays golden eggs, and he could digress. But once a person gets there, guess what? You got to have the courage to to number one, you got to confront the situation. Number two, you got to mentor that person. You got to set some goals, some grow goals. This is where I need you to be. And guess what? If they don't perform, guess what? You got to be able to let them go. You got to be able to let them go. Okay? You got to protect the culture. You got to protect the environment in your office. You got to protect the environment on your job. You got to have standards. You got to reinforce them. You got to have expectations. You got to reinforce them. And you got to make sure that everybody is professional and represent the brand. You have to protect the brand. Okay? How do you do that? Culture. You know what I'm saying? If people feel like you care about them, they'll care about you and they'll help you protect your brand. So you got to protect your culture. And what you can't do is let a fox come in and cause all your people to be bad employees. You can't do that. You can't let somebody come in and literally be a disease inside your company. You can't let that happen. So you gotta take care of that. And guess whose job it is to take care of that? Yeah. That eagle. We're going to talk about that. Build a retention focus. Sure. To be honest, Steve, I don't have one. To be honest with you, ChatGPT is my friend. So if I want to create something, I go to ChatGPT and say, hey, I need to, I'll tell ChatGPT what I want. It'll create it for you in 5 seconds. So you can put that in there. I can create one for you and give it to you. It's no big deal. I have done one before that I created that I could probably find. I can get that to you. But yeah, I can do that. It's not a problem. Okay. But again, as I've said, listen, if a ship is running, a ship should typically be running true north, which to me, true north is right? Where it's making money, it's profitable, it's doing what the owner designed to be. But when that ship starts running northwest and northeast and then south, it's leadership's responsibility to right the ship. Someone has to have the courage to right that ship. Somebody got to do it. And guess what? It's that ego that does it. It's that ego that does it, right? The culture has to be protected by the owner, by the ego, by the leadership, right? Morale has to be protected by the ego, by the leadership. It has to be. If a company is running bad, it is the leadership's fault. I'm going to give you an example. How many coaches got fired this week? Last week? How many, not one coach ran a route. Not one coach threw a ball. But guess what? They are responsible for whether that team does well or not. Why? They do the recruiting. They do the training. All that stuff they do. They have, I would say, probably about 90% control over that team. So guess what? If that team doesn't perform, guess what? Somebody got to go. Somebody got to go. And so it's the leadership's fault. It's the leadership's fault if something doesn't go well. So what does leadership do? You got to build a retention focused culture. You got to create an environment where excellence thrives and people want to stay. You, as an eagle, as a leadership, as a management, you set the tone. You set the standards. You said, this is what we at IEC Dallas, this is what we're going to do. This is how we conduct business. This is how we dress. This is how we carry ourselves. This is our standard. This is what we do. You got to do that. You have to have a vision and you have to remind your team, what is our vision? What are we trying to do here? What is our goal? Because let me tell you something. If the company reaches its goals, just like crap flows down here, success flows down here, or should, right? It should flow down here. So Eagles see the vision and they make it clear. Paint the vision, make it clear. Give your team direction and purpose. Tell them this is what we're going to do and this is how we're going to do it, right? And then you got to lift when you got to lift others up, right? You got to do, again, that old favorite word, mentoring, training, positive leadership. And leadership means If I want you to be there on time, guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna be there on time. If I tell you, I want you to let us know if something's going on, you're running late, guess what I'm gonna do? Right? If I have a team and we're short staffed and my team needs help, guess what the leader gonna do? The leader gonna get right there beside them and help them get it done. Right? I'm not just gonna let my team members suffer and get overwhelmed and work weekends and all night long, right? And burn out because I'm gonna lose them eventually. They're gonna be gone, right? And so I have to take care of my team, and that's what a leader means, doing what's necessary. And guess what? I had a guy tell me this one time. He says you have to learn to be a I got to think of it. It slipped my mind. You got to be, man, it slipped my mind. I can't believe I forgot this. Let me keep going. It's going to come back to me. Trust me. So eagles lift others. And eagles protect the culture. You got to protect the culture. You see something going on, shut it down. You see some people fighting one another or can't get along, shut it down. Look, y'all got to get along. Okay, you got to be a demonstrator. I told you it's gonna come to me. You got to be a demonstrator and not a dictator. What does that mean? That means that before I ask you to do something, I'm gonna do it first. I'm gonna tell you right now, my training director, if she sees some trash on the floor, she pick it up. If some stuff we had to literally tell her, will you please let me do that? She would she would paint the building, she would do anything. But guess what? It makes you want to do it because she'll do it. Listen, be a demonstrator and not a dictator. I'm not just gonna dictate what I want. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna demonstrate. I'm gonna be a leader and show you how it's done. And guess what? When I see some stuff going on that shouldn't be, I'm gonna speak on it because I'm not the boss. I can't speak on everything that happens in an organization, and I depend on my boss to make sure that our culture is good. If our culture's not good, then we're not going to be profitable. We're not going to grow. And guess what? If we're not profitable and we don't grow, I'm not getting my bonus. I'm not getting my raise. That's a problem for me. And I'm doing my job. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. But this person right here not doing their job. It's affecting my money. They're literally taking food out of my family's mouth. That's a problem. I need my leadership to see that. To realize that it's not Zach. It's not. We have issues. We have a culture issue. We have people in our organization that are not being goose. That laying go. They're not. They're not the ugly duckling. They're literally foxes. They're doing nothing but coming in and being selfish and stealing and taking and doing only what's good for themselves. I need my ego, my leadership to see that and fix that and not let that happen. Right? I depend on that. Right? And the eagles reinforce excellence. They reinforce loyalty and commitment in doing the job right. Doing the job right. If someone's not doing the job right, I need my boss to recognize that and deal with it. I need my leadership to recognize someone's not doing their job and deal with it. Because it ultimately affects me. Right? It ultimately affects me. I mean, you are a byproduct of who you surrounded around. 9 times out of 10, you want to be surrounded by people that feel the way you feel about your organization, that want to work hard, they want to do their best, they want to see their organization grow. You know, but when you got to sit beside people that don't want that, it's frustrating, right? So you don't want that. And you depend on your leadership, your egos, to come in and make sure that they're taking care of that. I shouldn't have to, you know what I mean? I shouldn't be frustrated about that. My leadership should take care of that, right? So all these metaphors can work. So when you're going back and you're looking at your workforce, you should almost mentally be able to decide, is that an eagle? Is that an ugly duckling? Or is that a fox? You should be able to identify with these metaphors who you have. Or now, and they can fall into 2 categories. They can be a fox, but yet have a little ugly duckling. They can be a fox and maybe, you know, they may have a little fox in them. So you have to be able to identify where these people are as the eagle and make the necessary changes, mentoring, to help them be everything they're supposed to be, to get them where you want them to be, right? Again, I told you, the leadership is responsible for the organization. If your organization is trash, then you're gonna be held responsible for that. That's your chapter, that's your company. who runs that company? They look terrible. Oh, that's so and so's company. Oh, that's so and so's association. They terrible. You don't want that. You want your team to represent who you are. They should mimic who you are. Which hence, as an eagle, you need to operate in excellence. That way, you operate in excellence, your team will operate in excellence as well. Which means you got to give them the plan. You got to give them your vision. You got to tell them what you envision your organization being, where you see yourself in 5 years, and how is it going to benefit them? How is where we're going to benefit you? Okay, more money, more opportunities, more benefits, more vacation time. The whole team benefits by us operating at a level of excellence. So, again, all these four metaphors should help you identify where your people are, what mentoring needs to be done, what training needs to be done. It should help you to really identify who they are. And again, you're gonna have some that are gonna be in both of those areas, and you gotta push them to the area that they need to be in, which is that golden goose that's laid in golden eggs. That's where you want them to be, right? So you're gonna coach them. So, conclusion. I think I'm beating my time. I don't know if I'm just going fast or what, but anyway. So you want to use these four metaphors to improve your retention. Okay, people, listen. I truly believe that people want to be around great people. People want to be around successful organizations. No one wants to be around a team that's not winning. No one wants to be on a team that's not winning, that's not having success. You know what I mean? People want to be around people that's doing things and people that's making things happen, that are being successful. All right. And you can use these four metaphors to identify your people and get them where you need to be. And so at the end of the day, you want to do this. You want to keep your best talent. If a guy's you want to keep your best talent. If this young lady, this young man is your best, you want to keep them. You do not want to lose your best talent to someone else. You want to grow your future talent. Those ugly ducklings that have potential, you want to grow them up. Because guess what? When those goose get too old to lay golden eggs, you need someone to take their place. You want to grow up your next supervisor. You want to grow up your next foreman. You want to grow up the next person that's going to take the place of those retirees. So I got to grow up the future. And that's the problem. I have contractors right now that won't take an 18-year-old and 19-year-old, but that 18 and 19-year-old could be your next 50-year-old that you have right now. But guess what? Got to give them a chance. Got to take the time to mentor, teach, to bring them up into the trade, bring them up in the business. And then you got to remove threats to your culture. The things that make you great. Anybody that's coming into your organization is not making you great, that's taking away from what you're trying to do, you got to have the courage to get rid of them. And then you got to build a culture that people don't want to leave. One of the things that we have done as an organization, as an association here in Dallas, is we try to make apprentices feel, we want them to know that they are valued, that we care about them, that they are important. And we have found that by doing that, they don't leave. When they call us and they want to quit, we're just like, okay, great. Hang up the phone. No, we talk, hey man, why are you trying to quit? Do you not understand that this is your future, that you can make money? Did you understand the decision that you're making right now is a decision that could affect your family for the rest of your life? We try to keep them. You know what I'm saying? And if they just say, you know what? I've made up my mind. Well, listen, hey, I appreciate you calling me. Thank you so much for calling. Listen, if you ever change your mind, please come back. We try to create a culture, an environment that people want to stay in. Even if they decide to go and leave us for whatever reason, they know they can always come back. You want to build a culture that, and some people, they're going to always think the grass is green on the other side. They going to think that, but guess what? You want to build a situation where if they decide to come back, hey, you always got a home here. You never know. They always got a home here. I'm not going to be mad at you. I know you're trying to go see if the grass is green on the other side, but guess what? You can always come back. Any help you need. If you need help, hey, I'm here to assist you. You want to create a culture people don't want to leave. Same thing with contractors. I'm trying to create a culture here in Dallas where our contractors know they can reach us anytime. I give them my cell phone number. I know that's crazy. I give my contractors and my apprentices my cell phone number, right? Because I care. And I want them to know that if you need something, I'm here for you. They pay me to do this job. I love it. This is what I want to do. Guess what? I'm here for you. I know that's a lot. You don't have to give me your cell phone number, but I'm different. I know I give them my cell phone number because I want to, and what I'm saying to them, if you need me, you need me. Because guess what? When you have a problem, it may be on Sunday. When you have a problem, it may be on Monday after hours. If you have a problem, I need you to know that if you need me, you got me. So I'm done. I'm early. I'm gonna give you back some of your time. I'm thinking. So I'm gonna turn this thing back over to Emily if there's no questions. But again, let me just repeat real quick. Right? You want to make sure that those goose that are laying going to eggs, you're taking care of them. You're rewarding them. You're thanking them. You're giving them tools to help them to move up and be more successful. And those ugly ducklings that got potential, you want to mentor them. You want to, tell them, come on, I know you can do this. Come on, I believe in you. Come on, let's go. And you want to help them and give them a growth plan. And then those foxes. Every fox you ain't got to get rid of. Some of them you can keep, but you got to figure out, what's making them tick and figure out, can we convert you? Can we convert you to at least an ugly duckling? Can we convert you to and if you can't, guess what? You got to have the courage as the ego. You got to have the courage to say, you know what? It just didn't work out. You ain't got to be mad. It's not, listen, I tell my boss all the time, it's not personal. You don't have to get mad. Listen, John, listen, Sue, hey, this is just not going to work out. I appreciate you. I appreciate all you've done. It's not going to work out, but we're going to have to part ways. You ain't got to be mad. You ain't got to create an enemy, right? You don't want to have somebody come to your house trying to break in your house because they're mad at you. No, you want to leave on a good terms, right? So I'm done. Thank y'all so much for coming. Thank you, Emily and the Association IC National for allowing me to talk to you guys today. I enjoyed it. And hopefully we'll do this again. Emily.